You were my customato for like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson had customato. He's 15 years young.
I wanted to see what you're made of.
You did everything 3 times per week.
Yes. 2 roads. 1, you can take a lot of roids. 2, you can just train hard.
All right, so we are here at the Man Cave, the home office of John Brown, born February 16th. same birthday as my mom, same as Lonnie Teeper. And I always love to tell people kind of where I came from, because I cannot tell my story without mentioning or at least talking about your story, because I'm real quick to fanboy over the things that you were able to do and instill in me as the big brother that I didn't have as a bodybuilder. I'm the youngest of 8. But I can't tell the Shawn Ray story without telling a partial your story, because I met you at such a young age, 17 years old. But people have always asked me when I'm traveling, like, what was the catalyst? Like, if you were, I tell my story that you used to kick my ass. If you were kicking my ass, why did I stick around for so long? But I also make the comparison that you were my customato for like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson had customato. He's 15 years young. Cuss said, you're going to be the heavyweight champion. Took him off the streets, gave him the tools to become a man. And sure enough, he became the heavyweight champion at a very young age. And I came up with Mike. Mike in my era was one and the same. And you coming from Compton, me being in Orange County, born and bred, I have to ask you the question, like, what was it that you saw in me that I didn't see in myself? I'd already been lifting weights a little bit for football. I joined your gym, started working out a little bit with your old roommate. You were at Cal State Fullerton, I believe, at the time, or you had just gotten out of Cal State Fullerton. But you saw something in me I didn't see in myself. Let's start there, back in 1983.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm in the gym, and as I recall, you're in the gym, and you're at a distance always kind of staring at me.
Yeah.
And I looked at you, and I go, this guy is well-balanced, you know? He hasn't been lifting for a long time, but I can see he has good balance. Mm-hmm. He has potential. So I knew then if you had to drive the ability to work hard, you could probably make something out of yourself.
Yeah, but you weren't like training people at the time. Like you
I wasn't training people.
You weren't looking for a training partner.
No.
You were busy being Mr. Universe twice. And somehow or another, I worked my way into your peripheral vision. And you kind of became that mentor that I wasn't looking for.
Yeah, well, like I said, when I saw you, I said, hey, what do you do? You said, I play football. I said, oh, okay. You want to bodybuild? I don't know. I never thought of it.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I was in high school.
Yeah, and I go, well, I think you have a good physique. Maybe you could do something with that. Mm-hmm. You want to try? I don't know. You weren't sure. I said, well, come into the gym tomorrow. Let's work out. Then you came into the gym. We started training that day. And then I started taking you through this. I wanted to see what you're made of.
Oh,
you see?
See what I threw up. I cried. I ran away. I was hiding. I mean, what were you looking for?
To see if you had the toughness.
Yeah.
Because I knew there's 2 ways to go, 2 roads. 1, you can take a lot of roids. 2, you can just train hard.
Yeah.
I wasn't a guy who would like to take a lot of roids. Mm-hmm. I'd rather train hard. So I wanted to see if you could train hard. So I said, let me put him through some workouts and see if he can hang for. If he can hang for a week, he'll be all right.
Yeah, well, it's well documented that you didn't just train. I mean, let me give you an example.
I wish I'd have taken pictures of videos of that.
Yeah, it was a different time. Thank God they didn't have that, actually, because we were more focused on the training. But you worked out 6 days a week. You did chest, shoulders, and arms on day 1, back and legs on day 2. That's Tuesday. On day 3, which is Wednesday, chest, shoulders, and arms. On day 4, back and legs. On day 5, chest, shoulders. I mean, you did everything 3 times per week, religiously, with the same intensity as if you were training for the Olympia every time I showed up at the gym.
Yeah.
What was that all about? That was like overtraining 101.
I never believe in overtraining. Even today, I don't. I believe you can eat or undersleep. Mm-hmm. As long as there's a balance with eating and sleeping, you can't overtrain. I met a lot of guys during that time period told me they train twice a day. Well, you can train twice a day easy, but you can't train hard twice a day. Mm. So if they came and trained with me, they would find that it's very difficult to do that twice a day.
It's over after the first workout for sure.
You ain't doing that twice a day. So I knew just training hard was the way to go, because I was 6'2" when I started. Well, not really lifting weights when I started bodybuilding.
You were slender though.
I was 150 pounds.
At 6'2".
Yeah. And so how did I gain weight? I just kept training, kept eating, kept training heavy. And the more I trained hard, the bigger I got. Now I'm from Compton. What we would do is we trained at Compton College. Gangbangers from prison, inmates, when they get out of prison, they came to Compton College.
Yeah.
And they were big. 19 years old, like my friend Eric Baker. His brother Ronnie came home. He said, Ronnie has 21-inch arms. I go, what? So we snuck to his house. We were kind of afraid of him because he's older than us.
By the way, that's how I felt coming to your house when I was a teenager.
Oh, really?
I was a little intimidated, a little bit fearful, and very respectful, because I was like, you're from Compton, I'm from Orange County, you're loud, you're big, you're aggressive, and I walked a thin line when I came in.
You were like that with Ronnie.
Yeah.
So Eric asked Ronnie, can we tape his arms? So we taped his arms right there in his mom's kitchen. He had 21-inch arms. I think he was like 20, 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand that.
You're fascinated.
Now I knew there's no steroids in the... Keep in mind, when I'm in Compton, at that time period, I never heard of a steroid.
And this is in the 70s?
This is the 70s. I never heard of a steroid. What? I never even heard of the word. So I knew that the guys from the penitentiary were big, they were strong. So we would go to the gym and we were afraid of them, but they were on one side of the gym. We would stay on the other side and copy everything they did.
Yeah.
So I guess the foundation of my training came from those guys.
Yeah.
So I saw them training the way they trained. We simply did that. So when I came out to Orange County, started bodybuilding, I knew that was the way to make muscle grow.
When you started bodybuilding, what names were you focused on? Were you looking at people like Robbie Robinson, or were you looking in the magazines at Arnold? Or
I saw Arnold, Columbo, Robbie, Frank Zane, these type of guys.
Yeah.
All these guys in the magazine. And I thought, well, but keep in mind, before I started bodybuilding, I was like you, I was playing football.
And track? Didn't you run track?
No,
No track.
Just playing football. And next thing I know, some guy saw me and thought, man, you have a good physique. You should try bodybuilding. Next thing you know, I'm into it. So I looked at Robbie. I looked at Frank Zane. And then I heard about Gold's Gym somehow. I go, what? Where's that at? This guy tells me, in Santa Monica. Come on, let's go down there. So we went to Gold's Gym. I saw Bill Grant, all these guys.
Yeah, Bill Grant.
Ken Waller, all these old school guys.
Dave Johns.
Yeah, and I was like, I think I was 19 or something, or 18 when we went there.
Yeah.
And
is this the original, probably, old Gold's Gym, right?
It wasn't the original. It was the
on
second
Main Street
one.
Already? Okay.
Well,
Sunset.
No, I think it was the original.
Yeah, the original, I think, was Main Street, and then it moved.
It was the original. It was the original Gold's Gym.
Smaller.
So I heard about it. You remember Val?
Yeah, I remember.
Val took me there.
Yeah.
He was a couple of years older than me, and he had a car. So we went down to Venice Beach, looked at Gold's Gym. So yeah, so I saw those guys, Robbie and those guys, and then I got a chance to meet Robbie.
How old were you?
When I met Robbie, I think I was like...
When you went to Gold's?
19, I think.
You know what's crazy about that is when I first went down there, you took me.
Who did?
You did.
Oh, I did?
The first time I went down there, we went to Worlds first, and then we went over to Gold's Gym, and I was like, I'm stuck on Gold's Gym. Worlds was a different vibe.
Yeah.
Smaller, no music, quiet.
Yeah.
We walked into Gold's, it was like walking to a nightclub in the movies, like Hollywood.
It was energetic, yeah.
But you didn't spend a lot of time down there because you did all your
I didn't, because it was too nasty and it was like a lot of homeless people. And like, it just reminded me of the slums and dirty and
trying to get
filthy.
away from that.
Yeah, I didn't like that environment. So
you were dropping names on me when I met you about a teenage bodybuilder, Doyle Washington. I think had won the AAU Teen America, and you pointed him out and said you could beat this guy, and he looked like a grown man.
Yeah, he was really good.
I said he almost looks like you. There's no way. Yeah, you could beat him. And then one of the other seeds that you put in my head is when Rich Gaspari got second place in the Mr. Olympia. I want to say it was in 86 or 87, 88, and 89. I think he was second those 3 years, 86, 87, and 88, because Labrada, I think, in 89 was second place. But when he got second, you said you could beat him. I just won the Junior World Championships in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
I was 20. And I think Gaspari had just gotten second at the Mr. Olympia, and you said you can beat him. And I thought, what the hell are you looking at? What do you mean? And that stuck with me as a 20-year-old. It was very impressionable. But we had already had we had some time under our belt. And again, I notoriously say that I would run away at times, and you would come and seek me back out. And the idea that I would keep coming back and not quitting, I think that's kind of where you took me under your wing. But you had nobody under your wing.
I remember to come to your house, walk around your house, knock on your windows. I know you're in there. Get your ass out of here. Get up.
I was hiding.
Let's go. I know I see your car.
But eventually I would
Where
come
are you?
out.
I'm knocking on the windows.
Eventually I would succumb and I would give in and be your punching bag. But you weren't like that with everybody. I mean, you did train with Milos, you trained with Melvin, you trained with
Donnie
Wiggins and Vince Taylor. I mean, your resume is long.
Just like all the guys, I could say this, all the people I trained, like
Richard Jones.
Who?
Richard Jones.
Yeah,
Richard
but the guys I really trained, like you, Melvin, Vince Taylor, Cynthia Hill, she was a fitness competitor.
Yeah.
They all was world champions. All of them.
What you didn't do was like show us how to train. You did it and you made us do what you did.
Yeah, you trained with me.
There was no conversation.
No talk.
I didn't get any detailed explanation on form and technique.
No.
It was like, you got in there and if you did 100, we had to do 100. And
wait, let's stop for a second, because I never thought of that. Look, we got to digest that. I never talked to you about form
and technique.
Just do it.
Yeah, there was no education.
Yeah.
And I was
You learned through experience.
I learned. You said basically it doesn't rub off. You got to do what I'm doing to get to where I'm at. And all it took was me walking into your condo and looking at the results of your work, the trophies, the medals, the best arms, the best chest, the best poser, the magazines from Europe and Mexico and different languages. And then you pick up the phone and you'd be talking in German. And I thought, what the hell? It sounded alien to me to think that a guy from Compton could speak another language. And then I hear you negotiating fees. And then it got to a place where I was picking you up at the airport and I was going out and helping you get your food and running errands. I felt kind of like an apprentice because while that was happening, I'd won the Teenage Orange County, I won the Teenage California, the Teenage Los Angeles, the Teenage National Championships. I was building my resume to a point where then I needed to seek out more information because you were living off of Hamburger Helper, McDonald's, Kool-Aid, spaghetti. I couldn't learn the proper foods to eat because your metabolism.
Yeah.
How did you get away with all that?
I never. So let me think. I don't ever recall ever being on a diet for a competition.
I never saw you eat a piece of fish.
I never went on a diet.
Rice.
I just worked out. And what I would do is I would just start, let's say 1 month before the show, I would eat maybe like a lot of hot dogs.
Cleaner.
No, hot dogs.
Food of choice.
Because it's not fulfilling. I know my body was burning so much.
Yeah.
So I never did a sit up. I was pretty much just naturally just go on stage.
Well, you also were notorious for getting up late in the afternoon. Like you slept a lot. Like you did recover.
I slept until 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
12 to 13 hours every day.
Yeah. And I thought, as I look back, because there's about 10 years between us, and I was trying to follow your footsteps. I heard you went to Cal State Fullerton. While I'm in high school, I'm like, I got to get to Cal State Fullerton. You were an art major. You weren't playing sports. You were a bodybuilder, and everyone on campus knew who you were, even though you did most of your stuff over in Europe. And yet people knew. And the colleagues that you came up with, did you go to Cal State when the basketball player Ozell Jones was there? Or you just knew him? Leon Wood?
I was there when Leon Woods was there. And then after I left, went to France, that's when Ozell came later. So I met Ozell later.
I think Mark Collins there?
I think he was
playing
there.
Football.
Yeah,
you had some people going there, but like in 1983, I was barely coming of age. Was that the year you won the universe, or was it 82? 81, 82?
First one, 80, 81, 82, 81, 82, 82, 83.
Yeah, and then I'm really in your sphere because I'm in high school. I'm playing. You saw me play football.
Yeah.
And you pretty much said, "What are you doing playing football? You need to be a bodybuilder." And so I was at a crossroads. My senior year, they're asking me to play football. You're telling me I can bodybuild.
Well, you didn't play your senior. You did play your senior.
I played my senior year, but after that, it was the North-South All-Star game at Cal State Fullerton. I had to make a decision. I chose the teen nationals. I went and I got second as a middleweight. I lost out to Franco Santarello. But I went back in 85 as a 19-year-old and I won that. And that's kind of what launched me. Ricky Wayne put me in Flex magazine for the first time.
That fucker, I hate him.
Yeah, what happened with Rick?
I don't like that. He's a piece of shit.
So
excuse my language.
This is during your time.
Wait. Excuse my language, but sometimes I have to use bad language because bad language was designed to knock on your front door and get your attention because he did some dirty stuff to me.
Now this is it. You know, he's working for Weider at the time?
He was working for Weider, so, yeah.
And you were still a competitive bodybuilder. The injury to your pec didn't happen until 85?
That injury happened.
Or was it 84?
It was late. It was like
I graduated in 84.
It was later. Like
it was later than that. Yeah, because you were at your peak back then. So we'll get to Ricky Wayne because we're in the year 1983. You've convinced me that I can do this bodybuilding stuff. 1984, I'm already teenage California. I got second in the teen nationals. But 1985, I won the teen nationals. I wind up in Flex magazine. I'm getting notoriety. I'm getting. I was on the cover of. I was in the magazine On Your Own, which was a high school magazine, and I was in there. It was actually Ricky Wayne's son's wife who'd done a story on me, the teen scene in Flex magazine. And a year later, I'm on the cover of Flex. Yeah. I'm on the cover of Flex. Yeah. Now, you hadn't been on the cover since 1985. And I thought, for me, that was a huge milestone that I'm on the cover of a magazine in front of Joe Weider's offices. And the only thing that I could think that I had accomplished that you hadn't accomplished was I'm on the cover of Flex. Why were you not getting the exposure that your physique warranted? You had all these accomplishments.
Well, before I left to go to Europe, I don't think I deserved to be on any magazines. I hadn't won anything, hadn't done anything really. I was just trying to become a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So I don't think I should have been on any covers at that point. I left in 81. I got a phone call from Mike Glass saying that Serge Nubret invited me, invitation to go to the Mr. World in Paris, France, I think. So for those of you who don't understand, there's a thing called WABA, NABA bodybuilding, different federations, NABA, WABA, and IFBB back then. So I wasn't even part of the IFBB because that was for professionals anyway. I was part of the AAU. So I was trying to win Mr. America, Mr. California. So it was governed by the AAU.
By the way, who won the titles before that? Did you know the champions from the AAU NABA?
Yeah, so the NABA or the...
Yeah, so you wanted to follow behind, like who the previous...
So previous winners for the Mr. World, I think it was Robbie Robinson.
Yeah.
I think Robbie had left the federation, IFBB, but let me explain to him how this thing works.
Okay.
Because this is important for those who don't know. I was in the AAU because AAU was governing all the amateur competitions. IFBB was professional.
Right.
So I wasn't part of IFBB. When I exited America and went to the Mr. World contest in 1981, I entered into WABA. They blackballed me.
Yeah, that was very popular for them to blackball athletes that left.
So when I went there, I was not allowed to do any seminars, any guest posing, any competition that was governed by the IFBB.
Right. That's Weider.
That's Weider. Now, I was not even in it. They kicked me out of something I wasn't even in.
I wasn't even in it.
I was never in it. So I thought, okay, well.
You found out when you tried to get work that you couldn't get the work.
Well, here's the thing. I'm laying in bed, I get the phone call. The decision is, do I leave or do I stay?
Yeah.
I knew if I left, what would happen. Never been to Europe. Never been outside of the United States of America. I'm thinking, shit, what do I do? So I'm at my house pondering, do I leave, do I stay? I decided to leave.
81? What time?
81, I left.
My sophomore year.
I remember I had 3 months to get ready for the show. I go, what do you mean 3 months? But I was always in shape, you know.
Yeah.
I said, all right, I'll do it. So I did it and I won. I tell you, At that time, I was confused whether I should do it or not. But in retrospect, it was the best thing I ever done, is to leave here. Because back then, it's a little different than now. There was, I hate to use the word racism, but there was some racism.
Robbie said the same thing, but he stayed in the IFBB, Robbie, even though he said there was racism.
But he left and went to Europe for a while.
Right, yeah, and he came back.
So he came back. So I left, and at that time, there was what was the name of that magazine? Muscle Digest.
Muscle Digest, right.
Muscle Digest wanted to come to me to do a story on me because IFBB was Joe Weider's magazine, was Muscle and Fitness, Flex magazine. Guys like Bob Kennedy out of Canada.
Yeah.
Muscle Mag, Iron Man magazine. It was hard for them to get the IFBB athletes to do stories, to do photos. And they had magazines to sell also. So guys like me was a lot of value to them because I had competition titles, I had big titles. I was here in America. They can contact me. They could do photo session with me.
Right.
So I said, okay, I'll do it. But I want to be on the cover. Because remember, I just came back from Europe. And in Europe, I was on the cover of every magazine.
Yeah, there's like no discrimination.
Yeah, I was on the cover.
You're good.
Oh, all kind of. And so I said, okay, I'll do it. But I want to be on the cover. I forgot who, I think it was Luzawick. He came back and said no. They refused. I said, well, I'm not going to do it. I go, why'd they refuse? He put his head down. I go, just tell me. He said, because you're black.
Yeah.
I thought he was joking, right?
This is in 1981.
This is like around 81, 82 or something. I go, that's not true. What's the real reason?
Yeah.
And he repeated it. I go, are you serious? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
It's sports.
Reality check.
I thought, okay, interesting. Long story short, they end up putting me on the cover.
Yeah.
And that's the shot on my wall. One of these.
Yeah, we got over here.
That Muscle Digest shot. That's the shot they took.
Yeah.
So
who ran Muscle Digest? Was it something Wang?
Donald Wong.
Was it? Yeah, he's Asian.
Donald Wong.
And then John Balick brought it, I think, after that.
Oh, he did?
I believe so. Then he went to Iron Man or something.
Donald Wong.
Yeah.
Some doctor dude. So did that. And so then I went to let's back up. Prior to going to Europe, 1979, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. America was in California at the Civic Auditorium.
Okay, that was the year that Frank Zane won his last Olympia, the lightweight. Mike Mincer won the heavyweight, and Frank Zane won the overall in 79.
There was I can't remember this guy's name. Not really tall, but some black dude from some other state. Was in good shape, really good. I went into the competition. That's when me and Shelley Gruel won the mixed pair championships.
Right.
I know I couldn't win. I wasn't ready to win. I just wanted to get the experience. But I looked at the other competitor. I said, that guy, some little black dude, forgot his name. I go, this dude should win, because he looks better than everybody.
Yeah.
And he lost against some white dude. I thought, ooh, that's not good. I saw it. They clearly cheated him. I said, all right. And then 8 months after that is when I got the call from Mike Glass to go to the Mr. World. So that was one of the reasons when I saw it's going to be difficult, in my opinion, as an African-American to do real well in the sport.
You felt it. You believed that.
Yeah, it's hard to do well here in this country. So that was another reason I left.
Yeah.
So I tell you right now, it's the best thing I ever done. What I experienced, what I saw, I don't think no bodybuilder, even Arnold Schwarzenegger, prior to doing movies, experienced that in terms of notoriety, financial rewards. No way they had what I had.
Well, you won the Mr. World 3 times.
Yeah.
In the universe twice. Some of the names while you were doing that coming up along with you, like Cal Scalick.
Lee Haney. What are we talking about, there or here?
No, back here. During that time period. When
that was Lee Haney time.
Haney won the Nationals in 82, yeah.
Yeah, I was much younger than him, but he was around.
Yep.
And
Tony Pearson was coming up.
Pearson. And I left, and I tell you, man, I couldn't believe it. When I got off stage, I was in Den Haag, Holland. Mr. World. This is my second title. I came on stage, and I tell you the truth, everyone's been on stage posing. Man, when I started to hit my first pose, they screamed so loud it scared me. I actually jumped. I don't have the video, but I jumped.
Yeah.
Because it scared me. I never heard anybody scream so loud. I'm thinking, oh my God. I mean, I would go to do seminars in little gyms, and it would be like 3,000, 4,000 people.
Yeah, it was definitely a different time, and a better appreciation, I believe, in Europe. Even today, there's a stronger support for bodybuilding in Europe and in the Middle East that Americans just will not experience if they never travel.
Interesting.
But while you were doing that, to go back, because I was a teenager, my dad witnessed everything that you were doing in terms of mentoring me. You were a good friend. He allowed me to hang out with you, even though there was an age difference. My dad saw you as a positive influence on me. Not to mention you were picking me up in a Mercedes Benz, but you were doing something. And you're one of the few black guys in Orange County that my dad would walk into a store, hey, do you know John Brown? Everyone knew you here. So I was in good company, and my dad would slowly see my trophies amounting to something. So to watch it come full circle and me become a pro and become a man and to move on and get the fruits of my labor, and have it rooted in you never leaving. You never left. You were always there. You're still here. I mean, your son was the best man in my wedding when he was, 7 years old?
Yeah. The ring bearer.
The ring bearer. Yeah. I said the best man, the ring bearer. So we go way back. You must have learned German in a matter of months because you had never been
30 days.
How in the hell did you learn a foreign language in that kind of time?
I can tell you this. I can't answer exactly why or how. I know this. Through my life, I met a lot of different people. I met a guy who was trying to teach me Farsi at Cal State Fulton. I was working out with him. So every day he would teach me these words. Like, all right, okay, let's just work out. And he would tell me these words. He would say, this is bazoo, aranj, gadan. He would teach me if I saw some girls, they're binja. That means come here.
But why?
Well, here's the point though. Pull nada them means I have a little bit of money. Tocheli, hoskeli. So I never
phrases.
My point is, I never forget the languages for some reason.
Yeah.
You asked me about the history that they taught me in school, I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
But when it came to languages, for some reason, it retained. I can retain it really quick. And if I tried to get rid of it, I couldn't. So it was easy for me to learn languages.
So I
had a gift.
I've been going to Germany. The first year I went was in '88. I went a couple times. You were there, and I can't string together a sentence. But you learned the language, and then you stayed for months.
Yeah.
And then you were going months out of the year, and of course you were doing the business of bodybuilding. You were a celebrity, so to speak. What kept you coming home? Why didn't you just stay?
I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. I had to come home.
What part of Europe could you not take?
The whole thing. It wasn't the right food, the weather. I just got homesick.
Yeah.
And when you get homesick, they were throwing money at me. I said, dude, keep the money. I'm out of here. You got to remember, back then, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't even think Arnold Schwarzenegger and those guys were making good money. Not good money.
Right. Well, Arnold had a lot of other sources to make money. He was a mason.
Yeah, but I'm talking about just strictly from bodybuilding.
Yeah, strictly from bodybuilding.
So,
you're right.
When I went to Europe, I'm telling you right now, how much I made, I can't really say, but I would easily go there for 2 months. I could come back with $60,000.
Yeah, but don't you think the difference?
That's in the early 80s.
But you were a performer. They were paying you to come.
No, but that was the reason. I'm going to let the cat out the bag. No, here's the reason. I learned quickly when I went to Holland, there were so many people wanted to see me. I thought, what the hell? This is pre-internet, right? Pre-cell phone.
Yep.
My question to myself was, how can I set up a team, a European team, to handle all of my events?
The appearances.
The appearances. So whenever I went to Yugoslavia, wherever I went, I made sure I found somebody that spoke English in that particular language.
Okay.
And preferably owned a gym. If they owned the gym and they spoke English, I'd say, okay, look, I want you to be my handler. When I come to Yugoslavia, I'm gonna give you 10% of everything I make. Okay? All right, good. And I'll stay near your gym. I'll train your gym. Because back in Europe, I learned one thing. If you have a gym in Germany, in Dusseldorf, and you want the local newspaper to come by and do a story, they will never do it.
Yeah.
Some celebrity or somebody must be in the gym in order for that to happen. So I learned that.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, look, if I come to your gym, the newspaper's gonna come and we can promote your gym.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's because I figured that out. So long story short, I had, let's say, 15 different guys all over the country, all over Europe. I would send them a fax or call them, hey, I'm coming in September, whenever, for 6 weeks. Start booking shows. And they would just book shows. And I am telling you right now, before I left, I had a tour set up. I knew exactly where I'm going, how much I'm going to make minimum. And it would grow from there because when the other people found out, I didn't know he was here, and we wanted him to come. I'm telling you right now, Shawn, thinking about it, in the early 80s, I remember this guy wanted to quit bodybuilding. I go, what are you talking about?
Which time?
I don't want to. Why'd you want to quit?
I don't know. It's probably too hard, man. It was a lot of work. You're killing me.
And so I said, come to my house. Yeah. And I had a pillow sack full of money.
Yes.
Remember that? I had a pillow sack full of money.
Yeah.
And I emptied all that money on my bed. And Shawn goes, where'd you get that from?
You robbed the bank.
I go, it's from bodybuilding. What are you talking about? I said, I'm telling you, you can make money.
No, I learned from that and I replicated. Imitation is the best form of flattery. I replicated the things that you were saying, the things I was witnessing. By the time it was my turn, I did the exact same thing. That's why my passport had all these my parents didn't even know. Because mind you, when we traveled back in those days, if I'm in a hotel and I call home and I'm chopping it up for 30 minutes on the phone, when I check out of the hotel, I got a $1,000 bill. You wouldn't know how much the phone call cost until you checked out of the hotel. And those premiums were costing us a lot of money, but we were making a lot of money. And when you travel in Europe, one of the things that's dangerous is the denomination of the money. It's different from Belgium to Holland to Paris to Germany. You're going from the French franc to the Swedish kroner to the German Deutschmark. And all this, you learn, there's an education there to learn the value of a dollar. But when we came home, like you said, the dollars made sense because we stacked up these appearances. 1, you're doing a seminar. 2, you're training in a gym. 3, you're posing. You were a performer. People wanted to see your routines. When you said you made more money than the other bodybuilders prior to you, I believe it's true because a Mike Mincer or even a Frank Zane, although they were maybe good bodybuilders, they were not performers. You entertained. What I found out coming in your footsteps was a lot of the appearances I was making in nightclubs. Like I would go do a seminar, I'd go to a nightclub, they stop the music, and I'm performing in a nightclub where people are eating and drinking and smoking, and I come out and I'm the halftime highlight.
I did a lot of that.
You were doing that before me. You kept coming through my head. So when I made it, of course, I brought along Flex Wheeler, Chris Cormier, Al Q Gurley, Groove and Ruben. I mean, I couldn't help but be mindful when I was in Europe to think about the stories you would tell me when you came home from Europe when I was a kid, to remember the moments where you were dumping that money out, to see all the different denominations. And that was only a small part of the fun. What was probably more fun about that time for me, following in your footsteps, is everything that I was imagining you doing in Europe, because I wasn't going with you. We weren't traveling to Europe together. You weren't showing me that side of the business. But when I arrived, I couldn't help but when I walk into these nightclubs, these gyms, these expos, that this is what you were doing all those years when I was a teenager.
Yes.
And we still pay that forward today because after me came Melvin Anthony. After me came Richard Jones. And even Jay Cutler. I mean, those guys were watching what I was doing, what I helped Flex do, and Kevin Levrone. The guys were copying us, and they came up with this thing called Battle for the Olympia. That didn't happen. That wasn't around when you were competing. But little Mitsuru Okabe, I know you met him. He would come and document the bodybuilder's journey to the Olympia. And it was the first time they got to peel back the curtain and see us in our own element at our house. But one of the things that we never got to see was the family side. The family side, which is post bodybuilding. You didn't have kids till you were done. I didn't have kids till I was done. But there's another component to where are they now, where you're in a different place, a different headspace. When's the last time, John, you stood on a bodybuilding stage? You walked away in what year? Was that 85 at the Olympia or 86?
No.
No, the Ironman.
No. I did another.
I remember you did the Ironman.
The Ironman was the last one.
You know what year that was? At 92, 91? I never did ask you about that, but you just
That's a good question, because I tore my pec.
Right.
I think it was 90, 91, it could have been 91, somewhere around there.
Getting back to Ricky Wayne, was he still... He was not the editor of Flex Magazine at the time.
No.
He was there in 86 when I was there.
See, hold on.
The Rick Wayne story, I want to finish.
Let me tell you Rick Wayne why I hate that bitch, all right? Because here I am, a bodybuilder, trying to make it. All of a sudden, it was important to be in Flex, and Shawn was on the cover of it. Even to be inside of the magazine was very, very important. So I finally got them to do a story on me.
And Rick was not the editor at the time, or was he?
Rick was the editor.
Yes.
And Rick did the story.
Okay.
He wrote the story. And he asked me a question about some competition. I thought, well, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna do this. You know, I believe in myself. But the title of the story was John Brown, the next Walter Mitty. And those of you who don't know who Walter Mitty is, he's like a character of the famous daydreamer. So I thought it was pretty shitty to say that, you know, to title me as a daydreamer.
Did you know the impetus behind that?
I knew about Walter Mitty. So when I read that, I thought, what the hell? I can't believe he actually did that. You got to remember, when I came up, I got to take credit for things too, because sometimes if you don't blow your own horn, they won't know you in the band.
I heard that a million times from you.
You understand? I was performing on stage.
Right.
I was the first one to do that. So because I was the first one to do it, there's a lot of judges didn't like it. Some did like it.
Yeah.
So they had problems with me. Rick Wayne had a problem with that. Chris Dixon was on TV, and I was in a competition. I was next. He goes, "This is John Brown. Well, he's a good bodybuilder, but doesn't take it serious."
Yeah, that's an insult.
That's an insult, because I would, perform the way people right now today are still doing the John Brown show. Trust me. I started all that crap. So these guys were jealous of me. And I understood it because it's something new. It's not like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rick Zane, those guys, Frank Zane was doing that. I was the only one doing that stuff, performing on stage. So dancing on stage, mixing music. They would typically come out to, let's say, some classical music, do the routine, and leave. When I started mixing songs, because I figured, well, you know what? The first part of my song would be classical music for the judges.
Right.
The second part would be for the audience. And maybe that way, it'll keep the peace. No one's going to be really kind of mad at me. So they were kind of pissed at me because I did that. So I had to deal with that for a long, long, long time.
But while you're dealing with it, doesn't it take us back to the comparison of real groundbreakers? I mean, Elvis Presley had to go through that when he started shaking his leg on stage. Muhammad Ali had to go through that when he started bragging about how good he was going to be, calling the round that he's going to knock the boxers out, telling people that he was the greatest. Not everybody was ready for that. Prince, not everybody was ready for Prince. Michael Jackson, the first black guy on MTV, the first. That's in my lifetime. That's like 1983. I mean, there was a lot of art. James Brown. I mean, there's a lot of artists before you get to Michael Jackson that were not being played on MTV. So maybe you were being perceived as one of those pioneers that the time was not ready for them.
No question about it. So Tony Pearson and Shirley Gruel give me a call. They want to compete in the Mr. and Mr. America mixed pairs or something, a professional, something that was going to be on the Wide World Sports.
Right. It's on TV, right?
TV.
Prime time.
So they came to me, "John, we want to compete, but we need you to do our routine." So in my house, I did the whole routine from A to Z, did everything.
For them, as a couple.
For them. We're sitting around, me and my buddies, as they were airing it on television. So we all sat around, okay, we're going to watch Tony and Shelley. Hopefully they win, because I helped them. They won. And they asked Tony Pearson, "Man, what does it take to put a routine like that together?" That was fantastic. "Oh, just a lot of work," he said. Now,
Another slap in the face.
Another slap in the face. Tony's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say anything bad about him, but
You're aware,
I thought it was kind of shitty that they didn't mention my name.
Yeah.
I didn't charge them any money.
right?
Had I charged them, they would have mentioned my name. But I did all the work. So I really was one of the pioneers in bodybuilding in terms of performing on stage, dancing, doing all this stuff, mixing songs. I started all that stuff.
Well, let's go back because mixed pairs was a thing when you were doing it.
Yeah.
I remember watching and witnessing Tina Plackinger,
Oh, wow.
Shelley Grewell.
Yeah, good name.
Of course,
Good
Tony
memory.
Pearson was involved in that heavy. Diana Dennis, Corey and Jeff Everson. Up in Seattle, the Emerald Cup, Brad and Elaine Craig. Chris Dickerson did mixed pairs. I'm not sure who his partner was. You did it with.
Oh, and then he started trying to dance on stage. One of them.
I remember.
And I said, "Oh."
But
he's
then you
talking
had
about me.
Chris and Albert Beckles. They were dancing.
Yeah. They both started dancing. Look, here they are putting me down. Now they're doing it.
Yeah, I remember. I think Albert did Caribbean Queen.
I'm the creator of all imitations. Period.
But that's flattering, though.
Yeah.
I imagine it hurt because you weren't getting the public credit. So you never had a chance to confront Rick Wayne after that story?
Never had.
Because Rick Wayne was responsible for me getting on the first cover. Our experiences are different. He was way in retirement. Rick was a good bodybuilder back in the day. Became the editor-in-chief of Flex Magazine, worked for Weider. He probably had a different view of things at that time, but he actually opened that door for me to jump on that cover. Then, of course, I wound up going on to sign a contract with Joe Weider. I think Robbie Robinson has similar stories, along with Tony Pearson, about the role of race. But what I didn't see amongst you guys back then was any racial tension amongst the athletes.
No.
It seemed like everybody got along.
Everyone got along.
The one commonality was building muscle and bodybuilding. Did you have a chance to train with any of your contemporaries back then? Like I trained with Flex, I've trained with Chris, I've trained with Dennis Newman, Troy Zucolato. Did you train with anybody?
Never got a chance to train with any of those guys.
A couple of the guys that come to mind when you were coming up.
Well, you know who I trained with?
Did you work out with Serge or no? Serge Nubret?
No.
He was past his prime by the time you got to him.
He wasn't this guy is not really wasn't a really big champion, but he's popular now. Charles Glass.
Yeah.
He came to Cal State Fulton to work out with me one day, and I remember we were doing incline press. And back then, there was just an incline bench,
And
no racks.
No rack. Oh, you had to lift it up.
You had to clean.
the sides.
You had to bend over and clean whatever it is you wanted to,
Yeah.
the amount of weight you wanted to work out with, and you had to do it and then
put it back.
throw it back on the ground.
Okay.
So Charles was like, I said, let's do incline press. Okay, great. Where are we going to do it at? I go right here. What do you mean? You got to pick it up. I was cleaning like 315 off the ground.
Yeah. Unorthodox.
Just clean it up and just drop it on the ground. And Charles was like, what the hell?
Well, for perspective, Charles Glass was the 1983 middleweight national champion. I believe that was the year that Bob Paris won in 1983, I believe it was. It might have been 80. It wasn't 82 with Lee Haney. I think it was 83. But Charles was a gymnast. He would go on to compete in the Mr. Olympia. One of the few guys to do the backflip on the Mr. Olympia stage before anybody else. He was a gymnast. Went on and became the godfather of training. He trained everybody. He trained Rico McClinton, Flex Wheeler, Paul Dillette. So many people came to Gold's to train with the great Charles Glass. Still doing the business, by the way. He wasn't a big guy. 5'6", maybe. And a middleweight, I think middleweight's like 170-something odd pounds. They called him Charles Cut Glass. He was ripped. That was his thing. But that was only one experience for you. So you didn't have the chance to beat up on the guys you were coming up
Never.
with. I had a chance.
I got to train. Well, I got to train with Robbie Robinson.
How was that? Robbie's quiet.
I learned a lot.
Yeah?
I met this young kid, don't remember his name, where he's from. He just told, I went to Venice Beach. He goes, I know Robbie Robinson. What do you mean? He was like a 19. I must have been like 20. Or he could have been like 18. I go, how do you know Robbie? I go to his house. You're lying. I thought it was BSing me. He goes, you want to go? I go, yeah. So we're in the car. We drive to his apartment. He knocks on the door. Robbie opens the door. I'm like, holy crap, it's Robbie Robinson, right? So we sat down. He says, this is so-and-so, this is John. I introduced myself. I was sitting on the couch. I think he was married at that time. 5 minutes later, you work out? You compete? Okay. Are you good? I go, I'm trying to be. He goes, you don't work out hard enough. And that's all he said to me.
Yeah.
I go, okay, sir, right? You don't train hard enough. I thought, holy crap. How do you know that? Like, in my mind, I'm just going, like, how can a guy like this just say that, but it must be true because this is Robbie.
Yeah.
He goes, you want to work out with me tomorrow? I go, yeah. Okay, be at the gym tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how
so I was living 45 minutes away.
I know how far.
I freaking drove all the way to Gold's Gym, worked out with Robbie. He fucking buried me. What I learned from Robbie was the speed in which he trained.
Yeah.
Almost no rest between sets.
Yeah.
Almost zero. Your turn, let's go, JB. I go, fuck. He was trying to kill me, right?
Yeah.
But I did it. So I took that concept to training hard, a little bit of rest between sets, but I put more weight on it.
Mm-hmm. You did a lot
and
of
that's
it.
how I came up with my program.
Yeah. And that seed that he put in you, you shared that with myself and all the other bodybuilders that came up behind him in Orange County. That being said, at some point you decide to walk away. Like, I'm done. And every bodybuilder will come to that point in their life, what good, bad, or otherwise, injury, financial, love, whatever it might be, you come to that point. Were you scared when it was time to hang it up and walk away, not knowing where you were walking towards?
No, it was not. I was competing, and I was in Denmark doing a demonstration, bench press. They had a platform they built, but I didn't think about it. And I had like 575 pounds on the bench. I was real strong. I said, okay, I'm gonna do maybe just, at least one. But when I took it off, I go, oh shit, I'm gonna get two. They were all watching me. They had never seen anything like that. And when I came down, the bench broke.
Yeah.
Because the platform was wobbly. Shot me through the ground, tore my pec.
Man, that sounds like a big lawsuit.
Yeah. But the socialist country, I got an attorney, but nothing you can do. Came home, had the operation, not successful. So I thought, okay, John, you got two choices. Continue this thing or give it up. And I had 5 titles and I had started a business, a clothing business. And I went to Europe, I remember. I would come home, do the business, lock my doors, leave for 4 months, come back. $20,000 came up missing. I go, wait a minute. I got to make a decision. I got $20,000 missing here. That's in 1 month. Or take care of my business or stay in the bodybuilding. I said, I got 5 titles. I'm done. It was really easy for me because I had a business. And why did I have a business? Because I knew nothing lasts forever. You got to make sure you cover your butt. So I made sure that I put money into my business, get my business going. So when I was done with the bodybuilding, I could still maintain my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it was quite easy for me, actually.
And then it's not surprising that you wound up getting married to a German girl. Out of all the places you've been and the exposure that you had, you met a girl, you had 3 boys, and we blink and they go through the little junior Pee-wee Pop Warner thing. And I love to brag about the fact that they speak 3 different languages too. That's not like a chip off the old block.
No.
It's like bodybuilding. They had to study that because they were born here, lived here, raised here, French, German, and English. And then they all wind up at, 2D, 3D schools?
Division 1.
Division 1 schools, USC, Notre Dame, and Stanford. 2 of them in the NFL. One of them an all-pro for 4 years, your youngest, Amin-Ra. People know you as the father of the football players. And they don't see Mr. Universe because you don't look like Mr. Universe. When you were John Brown, the bodybuilder, before the family, before the wife, who did you meet in your lifetime that was impressive for you? Like, I came upon you and I thought, oh my God, you look 6 feet.
Serge Nubret.
Serge was your guy.
Serge is my guy.
Yeah.
Serge was the smartest human being I ever met. He was like Chat GPT before Chat GPT. Anything
Very
I wanted to know,
cerebral.
I'll call him up.
Yeah.
Like you guys.
I watched you.
Like you guys used to call me.
Yeah.
Hey, John, I got a situation. Let me give it to you. What do you think? So Serge was my guy, man. Serge was the smartest individual I ever met.
It was great when he came to California and trained in retirement and helped these other bodies.
He was my idol, actually, before that. So when I got a chance to meet him, I was all freaked out because I couldn't believe I got a chance to meet him.
Yeah, I did a segment on Where Are They Now about the bodybuilders that had passed away. And of course, when Serge passed away, he was actually making a comeback to actually make a guest posing performance. Yeah. And he was getting ready to do the very thing that he was in love with when he passed away. There's a lot of mystery around his death about how that whole thing played out. But I think you were one of the guys that said he should have never been doing that at that time. To come back at that age.
I begged him.
To try to perform one more time.
Yeah, don't do it.
Some bodybuilders can't walk away.
Because he was hooked on it.
Yeah.
I know we're talking about Serge, but I want to do a little sidebar real quick. Because I've done a lot of things in my life and I want to take the credit for it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I don't get the credit, so I take my own credit. Remember I used to do those spandex suits?
Yes. That's all I wore when I trained. Was it the live active wear spandex?
Yeah, live active wear.
The Bruce Lee sweats?
Yes.
Yeah, tights.
I did these tights. And so I had a friend named JD.
Yeah, he had a singlet too.
Who knew a girl who was going to be in the Olympics. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, man, make some suits for her. So I made some spandex suits.
Yeah.
The girl didn't want to wear them because they were too tight. I go, what do you mean? Well, that's so tight.
It felt like a wetsuit.
We convinced her to do it. That was Valerie Briscoe Hooks.
Yeah.
Flojo.
Yeah, 1984.
All that stuff you seen Flojo got famous for?
Yeah.
They came from me.
Right, I remember.
So I got to take the credit. For those of you who don't know, look at it. I put the Lycra on the track and field. I was a young man, and I only knew what I knew because I'm from the city of Compton. A company came to me 1983 at the Coliseum, Olympic trials. Gave me his card. Said, look, you're the guy who designed these suits and make it? I go, yeah, call us up. We want to talk to you. It was Hyde, Hind, or something like that, sportswear. And they were big in track and field world. But I never called them because I wanted to do my own business.
Yeah.
But I should have called them to use their money to make some money, and then I could have built a bigger thing.
Right.
But so I'm taking credit because I did all that, you know?
I wore those spandex my entire career. I mean, they felt like a second skin.
Yeah.
And what really enamored me about you when we would go out is, they would see you because you had this sense of fashion about you with the big jackets and the pompadour hair with the Jerry curl juice dripping on.
No, I had no juice. The curl was not wet.
I'm going to find a picture. But you used to walk amongst, Eric Dickerson at the peak of his career playing for the Rams. And these guys go out of their way to come over to shake your hand, not the other way around. You were a celebrity in your own right. Did it feel like you came full circle, that these people here knew what you had accomplished over there in Europe?
They didn't know. Those people here didn't really know
what you did.
No, they didn't know what I accomplished. But when in hindsight, when I look back, now I'm just Amon Ra's father. Right?
Yeah.
Back to
well, no, that's what I was getting. So now you got the three boys.
But the reason I'm just his dad now.
Yeah.
But if they talk about us on Sports Illustrated or Brian Gumbo interviewed us, they would always say John Brown, Mr. Universe.
Right. That's respect.
Had I not went to Europe, I would have not have had those titles. There's a lot of athletes like you. There's a couple of those Mr. Olympias you should have won.
Thank you.
They ripped you off. You should have been Mr. Olympia. You could have won Mr. Universe easy with your eyes closed. You could have won Mr. World. You could have done all this stuff. A good thing I left because I have titles now attached to my name forever.
Yeah, forever you will be known as Mr. Universe, Mr. World. I mean, I can't say John Brown without those two titles that you earned. But in that rearview mirror now, you're looking forward and you're looking at your seeds doing things. All three boys are very different. They're all very different. They're all great athletes. And no surprise, because
let's give it a name. Let's get a first name. So my name is John Brown.
Right.
My son's name is Equanimous St. Brown, Osiris St. Brown, Amon Ross St. Brown. That's my son. I changed the last name because I knew it didn't look good on the back of a jersey, just Brown. So I changed everything. So me, my artistic thing.
And I was not surprised that only you could get away with doing something like changing your son's last name. Not to mention the origin of your kids' names is more than well thought out. I'm wondering how much input did your wife have on that?
Zero.
This was all you.
Zero.
And this was calculated.
Calculated.
So the first kid's coming in like 1997, I think, or 96, Equanimous. What are you researching to find that name?
When I was 20 years, 19 or 20, one or two, at Cal State Fullerton, a buddy of mine was trying to write a book. You remember Tom Sinjek? I don't know if you remember.
I don't remember him as a close friend.
And he was trying to write a book, and one of the characters' name was Equanimous. I go, wow, that's a cool name. Where'd you get that name from? I took it from the word equanimity. And it means when he's fighting in the war, and the bullets are flying, he's always calm, cool, collected, never stressed out. I go, wow. You know what? My first son, that's going to be his name.
And that was...
I said that when I was 19 or 20.
Yeah.
And then I got involved in the Black Conscious movement in LA. It's a long story, but there was a lot of professors that they would meet up at a coffee shop and just talk about history, Black history and stuff. And I learned through that conscious movement about Egyptian, African history that you got to be careful with names and numbers because they have power and they have meanings. And so I started learning about Amen-Ra, Osiris, all these different characters from Egyptian.
Are you explaining this to your wife before the kids are here, or are you just putting the name on the person?
I was just doing it.
So there was no conversation.
No conversation.
This is you.
Because I was conscious, she wasn't. So I can't let an unconscious person make a decision.
Yeah.
So I made that decision.
She was happy to have the kid. You were happy to name the kid. It's ironic that you had 3 boys and I wound up with 3 girls. Yeah. But you did say that the only thing you wanted was a girl.
All I wanted was a girl.
And why would you want a girl knowing what you're able to do as a father to men?
I could have done the same thing to a girl.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, because I don't have a girl, there's probably nothing more beautiful than a little girl saying, "Daddy, I love you."
Oh, there is nothing better.
You know that.
Right.
So I don't know that. So, and if my wife give me a hard time, she'll get her.
Yeah, but the one thing I always wanted to do was go out on the football field with my kids because I played football too. And you went to all of those practices and all of those high school games, all those college games. Now you're going to pro games, right? Yeah. And what is that like? Getting on an airplane, going to a football stadium. I've been there in the parking lot with you, then going in to watch your boy play football, and then there he is on TV doing commercials.
It's weird. It's surreal. It's
You did say one thing that was profound before you answer that. It's almost like one of those things where one goes, we all go. You made it very clear to your boys that there's a 1 in 3 opportunity for somebody to make it. But you're on video telling them as kids you're going to the NFL. Like this is Customato 101, talking to a 15-year-old Mike Tyson. You're going to be the heavyweight champion of the world.
Well, the same thing I told you.
Yes, which is why it takes me personally to a place where I can relate. Yeah. But you spoke it into existence long before anybody had a glimpse. These kids were running around, playing football. I had friends that were saying that you were too hard on your kids. Yeah. Working them out in the gym, running them, catching the ball, staying after practice, going before practice. And you had to do it times 3. Yeah. And then when the fruit of your labor pays off, you look like Customato, and now everyone's coming to you. Yeah. John, I've seen the messages. What can I do? What food should I do? And you came up with your own product to help assist fast-tracking these boys putting on some weight and some muscle. Tell me about it.
So I came up with my own protein when they were like 7, 8, 9, because I went to school to see what they're eating at lunch. I was not impressed with that. I said, okay, I got to make sure they're getting enough protein in every day. So I created my own protein, which is Cane, C-A-N-E, Cane protein. That's it right there. And if anybody out there is want to get in contact with me, best thing would be to email me at Cane, C-A-N-E, caneprotein@gmail.com. That's C, not with a K, you fools.
Now, what is it going to do for me?
Beg your pardon?
It's for the kids.
It's for kids and adults. Yeah. It'll help you gain weight because protein is one of the most important. See, as a bodybuilder. Right. It's a beautiful thing to be coming from bodybuilding now into football because I know things they don't know. Right. I know that a 12-year-old boy needs more protein than I do because he's growing. Right. Most parents don't understand that. So I want to make sure that my kids are getting enough protein. I want to make sure my kids are lifting weights. They said, I don't know who said it. It stunts your growth. It stunts your growth, but I ain't never met that guy. And I don't know if that's even true.
Yeah.
I see my kids at 5 years old climbing trees. That's a form of resistance, in my opinion, picking up their bikes. So I knew controlled, supervised,
Guidance.
it's okay to lift weights, do push-ups at a young age.
Right.
So I poured everything I had into my kids. At the end of the day, like you said, there was parents saying bad things about me, but it's okay. Like I told my sons, a couple of things we keep as a family secret. We're going to the NFL. Don't tell your friends that. This is when they're 5, 6, and 7, because I don't want most people can't accept it. So just keep this amongst us. You understand that? You go, yes. And so certain things I would instill in my kids, and I would reinforce it every day. I would tell them, line up. They would line up.
Military style.
Smallest to tallest.
Yeah.
Total line. So what did I tell you about women? Girls are dream killers, Papa. It's okay, don't forget that. Okay, go. Then they can go play. But I would always reinforce all the things that we're going to the NFL. Let them know why we're doing what we're doing. Just don't do things. You have today, in my opinion, excuse me, I got a little.
Yeah, well, no, I can relate to what you're saying, because a lot of the things that you passed on to your own, you were subtly telling me. You weren't militant with me, but you were real quick to tell me, you want to be Mr. Olympia, you want to be a pro bodybuilder, you got to stay away from those girls. Like that was what would stop me from my focus. And I took that to heart.
Yeah.
That I could get distracted. If I follow my heart, I'm not following my dream. And I was one of the few guys that was able to just keep following the dream. Your boys, I used to watch you. You just put your hair and you whistle. I can't whistle, but you whistle and they come from way in the hell over there. They hear the whistle and all three of them are right there.
Yeah.
How did you get that discipline?
It just started at a young age. I go, hey, if I blow whistle, you know it's me, bring your butt over here. And they would come. And they would come, yeah, Papa.
Very respectful.
And they would stand like soldiers. Hands to the side, head up.
Which one was the hardest to discipline?
None of them.
They were all kind of...
They all was in sync like German soldiers.
Yeah.
They never, I don't recall them ever wavering. They always like that. So there's no such thing as lazy kids, there's only lazy parents. So at the end of the day, I'm trying to write a book right now. And eventually when I finish it, if you guys want to, if you have some children or some grandkids that you want to help out, get a copy of the book that I'm in the process of trying to write it right now to help them to understand my methodology and how to do things. You can't be, I had 2 hats. One was dad.
Yeah.
And one was coach. You still got to be lovable to your kids. It's not all like a helicopter dad or mom where you're just yelling at the kids. There's no yelling. It's not about yelling. Just explaining it to them.
We've seen other people have success. Tiger Woods comes to mind.
Yeah. Serena Williams.
Serena and Venus with Richard Williams. It comes to mind. The Ball family in the basketball in the NBA. We've seen the Manning family in the NFL. It's very rare, but when we see it once, interesting. Twice, wow, 3 times. I mean, your boys are on another level education-wise, and this is something that you did the best you could do at Cal State Fullerton, but then you kept on pivoting and pivoting and pivoting. At some point, the girls were not a dream killer because you actually settled down and you got married and that had to be a selective process for you to pick one to suddenly start having babies.
Yeah.
When did you say, all right, I'll go ahead and do this with her. She's the one. How does that happen? I mean, when you have all these choices that now I'm going to have kids.
Okay. I was in Germany going to a seminar, got in a cab, old black guy. I mean, I was in my 20s, so he looked older. He could have been in his 60s. I go, well, you're not German. Where are you from? I'm from Haiti. When did you come here? Oh, I came in the 60s. Are you married? No. You have kids? No. So now I'm confused, like trying to get the backstory of this guy.
Yeah.
He goes, well, I was doing the calypso music. I'm from Haiti. And it was real popular in the 60s. And we're going from, club to club doing shows. It was beautiful. And I said, well, why didn't you ever get married? I should have. I met a woman once and told me, be careful getting married before the music stops playing. Because the music won't last forever. And if you're not who you are, you're not going to be able to get married to a German woman in Germany, being from Haiti. I go, really? He goes, yeah, I should have listened to her. I didn't. One day the music stopped playing. And here I am. I had a choice. Go back to Haiti or stay in Germany. Haiti is no good. So I stayed here. So now he's an old black man living alone, going to die alone in Germany. I gave that guy the biggest tip I ever gave a taxi driver, because when I looked at him, I said, shit, John, you're looking in the mirror. So that's when I decided to, okay, hold on. Let me get my life in order. Let me settle down, find the right person, and have a family. At the end of the day, I have a theory. People say that some people say that I could be racist. Obviously, I'm not. My wife is white, so how can I be racist?
But your roots could make you racist. Your life experience, you don't forget the things that happened to you coming up in the 70s as a black bodybuilder from Compton, and the disenfranchised opportunities that were never afforded to you. It stays with you.
It stays with you, but I learned how to
manage it.
To manage and go around things. I don't deal with things that negative energy. At the end of the day, like, I'm from the city of Compton. I've seen a lot of racial stuff. I don't even want to go into it because I think it's not necessary. But for an example, I got pulled over by the cops a lot of times. 99.9% of the time, they never give me tickets.
Yeah.
Always get away. Yeah. They like cops like me, white cops I'm talking about. White cops love me. I don't get tickets from cops. Me and the cops got a good understanding. So I just try to be a nice guy and try to be, presentable and not ridiculous and stupid. At the end of the day, there's things that go on that I don't like, but I just keep it pushing. Yeah. Because when I was in the clothing business, I would go in to get the fabric and the guy wouldn't sell it to me because I'm black. Guess what? Okay, whatever. I'll call another guy, because the thing was, I had an order to ship. I had to get the fabric in order to make the money. So I don't have time to argue with this guy.
About color.
Okay, all right, okay, whatever. I go to the next guy. Yeah. Until I get it done. So that's how I deal with things. And I teach my kids that. I don't like to instill, like, I go in a restaurant, even today, 99% of the time, if I go into a restaurant at 2:00 in the afternoon, it's empty. How you doing, sir? Are you alone? Yes. They sit me in the back. It's weird. It's like, how did that get into their system to know to do that? So when I'm with my sons, they would see me and go, what's wrong, Papa? I would say, well, they could have set us in the front. They sent us in the back. No, they're not thinking about that. You're crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's life experience. Yeah. Perception.
Yeah, exactly. So my kids would say I'm crazy to think that way. Right. Which I understand, because they didn't go through that.
Yeah, they didn't see it.
And I don't want to tell them too much about what I went through, because I don't want them to become militant.
Right. It changed the way they think.
Change the way they think. Keep that away from them. I'll just, keep my experiences with myself. Sometimes I share things, but not a lot when it comes to racism, because I don't want it to taint them and to make them the real militant that people don't like me and because I'm black, Yeah. And if they don't, who gives a shit?
And it's a different life that you're living today. Of course, your kids are all successful and supportive of each other. And we know football has a shelf life, right? I mean, your oldest was picked up by the 49ers, was injured, didn't get a play last season. Your middle son chose not to go on to the NFL.
No, because he got injured.
He had some injuries after Stanford.
Had he not got injured, he'd have been in the NFL for sure.
Yeah, he could have, 100%. So he's watching your youngest play out his dream of a professional NFL career with the Detroit Lions. Did you know that the Detroit Lions are actually going to play a football game in 26 in Munich, Germany for the first time?
When did you hear that?
It was announced today on ESPN.
Oh, because I've been knowing that for 2 weeks, but it was a secret.
Nothing's a secret.
So I'm like, how'd you know that?
So the Detroit Lions are going to be in Munich, which is where your wife is from, and you have relatives over there. And they're going to play for the first time. I think this is the first time they're leaving the country since 2015. I don't think they've been anywhere. But it's a different life. You golf.
Different life, man.
You have an injured foot right now, but you're an avid golfer. Yeah. You've replaced the weights for the golf. Are you good? Because your team won.
I'm really good.
Your team won the charity event that I put on back in 2006 for.
I'm not as good as I used to be,
Hospital.
but I used to be a 4 handicap because I was like, before I had my kids, I was a madman just going to the range.
Yeah.
Now I'm probably more. I shoot like 82 all the time.
I think the golf has calmed you down. You may not know it, but it's mellowed you out. When you were in your bodybuilding days, I mean, what was it like for you? Because obviously, chemically speaking, I was coming into a different era in the 90s where insulin and growth hormone and all these peptides and all these coaches were coming in, mad scientists. You were coming off of a more pure time of bodybuilding where you said most of these guys, like you hadn't even heard of steroids when you started. So it was a different chemical element back in those days by comparison to now. I didn't see you as an aggressive person, although I knew you could be, especially when you were in the gym in the late 80s, even early 90s. You're way more mellow now. Like you're laid back. Is everything happening between the ears?
I don't even realize that.
Are you just more cerebral? I mean, look, at the end of the day, you really could put your feet up with what you've done with your family, but you still find the time to create the protein powder. You're doing your golf game.
Writing a book.
You're writing your book. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't end just because there's a level of security, but your happiness is where? Where are you getting your fix? Because it was in the gym. That's ended a long time ago. You're helping and mentor these other kids. You're paying it forward. Question. Where's your happiness coming from?
The perfect word is fix. All I do is I get my fix from going to movies, playing golf.
That never changed. By the way, I'm going to cut him off. I was a teenager in high school, and literally, if there was anything going on in the universe, it was always going to be a movie for John. And I started following that. I became a movie buff as well. It's like the best 2 hours of non-cerebral, non-physical activity that you could actually rest. So I literally would go to the movie right after I ate. As soon as the movie's over, eat again. But you started me on that trip. Yeah. What is it about the movies for you?
I don't know. Like you said, it's real cerebral, real calm, real mellow. I just love the smell of popcorn. Yeah. Those dark lights. It's something about it is a way to escape.
Mm-hmm. You've seen everything.
A couple hours. Mm-hmm. So I still go to movies a lot. I go by myself.
Yeah, same here.
All the time. I go to the movies by myself. I escape with golf.
Yeah.
And I still work out a little bit, but mostly golf, movies, and hanging out with the family, especially football season. Yeah. Going to football games. That's my thing.
Well, do you keep in touch? I mean, I'm still in touch with you as a young teenager. There were names I used to hear you on the phone. Blue, JD, Donnie, Steve.
I still talk to all of them.
I mean, these names, some of the people I met, but some of them, I'm wondering, they're in your universe still. You still keep
some of them passed away, unfortunately, but the ones who are still here with us, I still talk to those guys. There's still some character. One more thing I want to say, another sidebar. In terms of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Joe Weider was always good to me.
Mm-hmm.
His brother did some political things that was kind of a little sketchy, but Joe Weider always did me right.
Robbie didn't have the same experience, although he did win the first Masters Olympia in '94, Robbie. Mm-hmm. But he didn't share the same sentiments. As a matter of fact, Robbie still says the bust of Joe, that's him, and it may be, but there's no monetary, he posed for it. There was no money to be made, but he's bitter about that. I want to hopefully bring Robbie on to clear that up.
Okay. Robbie grew up in a different era.
Yeah.
Robbie experienced a lot of
Florida,
racial
Deep
things.
South.
Deep South. A lot of racial things he went through.
Yeah.
Again,
it's perspective.
I went through some things. I don't even want to talk about them. A lot of things.
Yeah.
But I chose a different path in reference to how to deal with it. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm saying. Some people like Maxine Waters. She gets on TV and starts talking about white people this and,
she's unfiltered.
Yeah. And she's bitter. She's angry. She has some truth in what she's saying. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And Robbie has truth in what he's saying. I have a story.
Yeah.
Right now, I could tell my racial story, but I choose not to. Mm-hmm. I don't want to give birth to it and keep it going.
Right.
You have to nip it in the bud at some point and figure out a way to deal with it mentally, to navigate around it.
Yeah.
This is what Robbie has to do.
Who's the actor that played in Shawshank Redemption, black guy.
Morgan Freeman?
Morgan Freeman was asked by one of the reporters, how do we get rid of racism? And he said, stop talking about it. Talk to me as a man, I'll talk to you as a man.
Yeah.
And he said, that was his solution. Stop talking about it.
Yes.
And
So
live.
perfect. That's what I do with my kids. I do it myself. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Life
As far as bodybuilding is concerned, Joe didn't treat you any different than anybody else.
No, he didn't treat. I went to his office, and this is after I came from Europe.
Yeah.
That when they blackballed me, and I was selling clothes, and I wanted to have an ad in the magazine. You know, we give certain athletes free ads, and I wasn't into Mr. Olympia. I wasn't some big IBB competitor, so I don't know what to expect. I'll never forget what he told me. I went to his office. Told him I wanted, if I can have an ad in this magazine for free. He said yes. I said, well, no, somehow I asked, is there anything I can do? Do some photo sessions?
You wanted to work for it.
Yeah, to do some trade. He looked at me and said, no, it's not, don't worry about that. And I kept insisting. He said, you do whatever you think is right.
That's kind of my experience with Joe too.
You do whatever you think is right. So Joe's never, he got bad raps from a lot of different people. But
well, let's be honest. Not everybody could get a contract. Even good white guys, some of them didn't get a contract with Joe. He was selective of who he tried to help, and he helped a lot of people. I was with him as soon as I turned pro. My first contract was 1988. I remember it was $1,000 a month. But it was enough for me to move out of my mom's house, and it was enough for me to pay my car note. And if I don't have that, I don't move out of the house. I'm home with mom. So Joe was responsible for me becoming a man that you kind of prepared me to become.
Interesting.
I spent my senior year playing football, going to the gym, going to movies, and spending most of my time at your house. Even when you were in Europe, I was at your house with your roommate. And I was absorbing the surroundings. If you're not in this room right now and I'm at your house, I'm looking at the pictures on the wall. I'm holding those trophies. I'm not coveting it, but I wanted it as a teenager. And I don't think you ever lose that. It's like your first kiss, your first girlfriend, or first time you make love, your first car that you buy. That first contract was everything, that $1,000 that Joe Weider provided me with. And ironically, we would only have 2 more contracts in writing. I had 14 years with Joe Weider, but only 2 contracts that were in writing. Everything else was word of mouth. And I had the chance, like yourself, I was at that crossroads with the WBF in 1990 to stay or go. I chose to stay with Joe, which was the best decision I could make because I had another 12 or 13 years under the Weider tutelage and contract. But at some point, it all comes to an end. I'm still in the throes of it. I'm on my 38th Mr. Olympia this year, 37th Arnold Classic this year. You're not present at those shows.
No.
And I'm wondering, do you miss it? Or are you so engulfed with the golf and the football and life has replaced
I mean, like, I don't want to get on an airplane and go to a show. You know?
Do you know who Mr. Olympia is? Have you seen him? Doesn't interest you? You know,
don't even know.
That's life, though. Life took over.
Yeah.
At some point, you stopped looking. But when you stopped looking, who was Mr. Olympia
last time I looked up, last Mr. Olympia that I recall was is it the dude named Phil Heath?
Phil Heath? Yeah, Phil Heath.
He was the last one.
Yeah, so he'd be like 2011 to like
other than
17 or something.
I have no clue.
He won 7 in a row, Phil. His first pro win was my first Shawn Ray Colorado Pro in 2006. Phil was the winner of that, a former USA champion. He won 7, and he actually had to take some time off, had some hernia issues, came back, and he got beat. I think it was 3rd place and retired.
So if you're going to a competition, or Melvin, they call him, hey, I'm coming by, or meet me there, I'll go.
Yeah.
Just to look, you know.
But the Olympia, it's been a minute, right, for you?
Yeah, it's not interested.
You realize Mr. Olympia is going to get $600,000 for winning this year?
No, I have no.
When I was there, it was $100,000, $110,000.
I have no clue. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm glad I bodybuilt.
Yeah.
But had my dad been conscious, he would have told me not to do bodybuilding. He'd have pushed me in another sport because I was athletic, where I could make money.
Yeah.
Real money.
But can you pursue the money, or you have to pursue the passion, right? Like I got involved in bodybuilding because I fell in love with the journey, and I didn't know how much money I was going to make. I saw you were making it, so I figured I could at some point. But I was following
Wait. That's a good question. Hold on. Is it following the passion or the money? My opinion is passion is overrated. I brush my teeth every morning. I don't like it. Ain't fun. I don't get turned on.
Yeah.
You know, it's something you do. I wanted to make sure that I guide my kids in the right direction. If I'm listening, if you're listening to my voice, guide your kids in the right direction. Don't do stupid shit. Don't do soccer. Female.
You can make money in soccer.
Don't make good money. Don't do bodybuilding.
Ronaldo.
Don't do track and field. I see these at Winter Olympics. Great athletes, bust their butts, and all they get is a gold medal.
But there's endorsements out
They
there.
don't get real. They don't get hundreds of millions.
Somebody's got to make it.
Hundreds of millions?
No, it's not that kind of money.
Okay, well, that kind of money is out there.
Yeah.
That kind of money is out there. So
But doctors don't make hundreds of million. Not the majority of them, but we need them. We got to have them. They got to.
Okay, let's start over. I'm talking about one thing.
Athletes.
Shawn Ray, you want to be Mr. Olympia?
Yeah.
Do what I tell you. If you want to be Mr. California, don't talk to me.
Okay.
All I know is about winning. The number one in the world. I don't know about number two. I teach my kids to be number one. And when I write my book, don't read it if you want your kids to be number two. I don't know anything about that. So why spend your time going to the Winter Olympics? Why spend your time doing that when you can, let's say WNBA.
Okay.
There's a lot of great athletes playing women's basketball. What percent of those athletes could have won Wimbledon if their mom and dad would have pushed them in that direction?
You got to be pushed to your passion too. If I don't like
No.
tennis,
Don't worry about passion.
You don't have a choice?
Passion's overrated.
I get it.
Screw passion. My kids don't know what they like.
Right?
They pop out into the world. You like chocolate ice cream, vanilla, or strawberry. They don't know.
But you have to be exposed to options. You have to have choices. I boxed, I swam, I did karate, I played basketball, football.
Yeah,
I had a lot of exposure.
You can do a lot of different sports from 5 years old to 10 years old. After that, you got to say which hill you want to live and die on. No more of that other stuff.
That makes sense.
And don't do stupid shit. Don't do track and field. That's completely stupid. Why would you do that?
Well, I mean,
Why?
the track and field, the Olympic Games are full of amazing athletes that go on to other things. Ron Brown played for the Rams, but he came from the United States track and field team.
Well, okay, listen to me. Why do you think he went to the Rams? To try to make money. He wasn't making money running track.
You got to catch. You got to have skill.
You can teach skill. My kids were not born to be who they are. Michael Jackson wasn't born to be Michael Jackson. Tiger Woods wasn't predestined to be that. His dad made that. And that's what I'm saying to you. You can tell. I had a guy tell me, "Oh, I got to find out what my kid is passionate about." Oh my God, fuck! Stop saying that. Passion is overrated. You want to make sure if you have a kid, you're a bad parent if you don't guide them in the right direction. Now, some people.
But what you're saying is you got to guide them in a way to make money. Your mindset is, you're 11 years old, you're going to make money. I want you to go this way.
Yes, you're going to be a good human being because I'm going to teach you values. So they're going to be good human
beings. What if
beings.
they're not good athletes?
Okay, look at my sons.
Yeah.
They had no choice in that matter.
Right.
You're playing football. This is the position you're playing, and this is what you're going to do what I tell you. That's it. You thank me later. Osiris, my middle son, had his foot injured in high school. If he had not hurt his foot, he'd have went to the NFL easy.
Right.
He hated football. I said, you're going to play?
But he was good. He had a scholarship to Stanford.
Yeah, you're going to play. He had scholarships all over Alabama, everywhere. You're going to play until 11th grade. In 11th grade, if you don't want to play anymore, you can stop. But until then, you're playing. Because I knew he'll be smart enough to go, wait a minute. I can go to Stanford. I can do this. I can go to the NFL.
It opens doors.
Open doors. I'm not stupid. I'm going to continue to play whether I like. I would predict, I wouldn't be surprised if 70% of athletes don't really have passion about what sports they're playing.
It's amazing because I hear that in their retirement. Some of them get to a place where they were doing it just because they were good at it.
That's it.
They weren't passionate about
That's it. But there's someone, I don't know, I think the same guy who said, you know, if you start lifting weights at a young age, you stunt your growth. He must be the same guy who said you got to have passion. That's overrated. He's the same guy.
But let me tell you, I am one of those passionate people. I found my first love literally holding one of your trophies and looking at you on the cover of it.
No, it's football.
Well, football took a second seat as soon as I realized how it felt to be sore, and then how it felt to have a pump, and then how it felt to have somebody pat me on the back to tell me they're recognizing my progress. Football is a team sport. Sometimes you can only be as good as a coach will allow you to be. I used to run the ball, get 100 yards, get 2 touchdowns. I'm sitting on the bench in second quarter. Or I'm playing defense because the coach wants everybody else to play. While I'm reading the stats on Saturday morning of a football player that ran for 400 or 500 yards, and I'm stuck with 125, 150 yards, and I'm fresh as a daisy. I'm in the gym Saturday morning while these guys are waiting to watch game film. So I fell out of love with football.
Because parenting.
Well,
if that was me, we had that situation. I would have left that school so quick to make your eyes.
yeah, I didn't have that option.
So if your parent was like me,
Yeah.
I was, oh, no, you're trying to share the ball? We're out here, bye.
Yeah, my parents watched us play ball. They weren't forcing us. I'm the youngest of 8, right? So
that's the difference.
They came to the games, and we were good. If I followed behind my brother Chuck had broken all the freshman records.
You'd have broke all the records at whatever. If they wouldn't let you break those records, we would have exited that school and went to another school.
I think part of my dilemma was because of that frustration that I went through by myself, watching the other kids from the other schools. I'm better than that guy at the other school. He's got more yardage. That frustration allowed me to get up Saturday mornings and take it out on the weights. My freshman.
But now what do you think about? Now what do you think about what I said?
Well, it makes a little more sense. But I didn't have the parenting that you had for your children.
It comes down to the parenting. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And there's some guys who get lucky and they squeeze through the needle's eye. But in general, it comes down to parenting.
Well,
if your parents are not there, it's difficult to make it on your own. You can do it, but it's more difficult.
As it relates to bodybuilding, though, I realize interviewing a lot of the guys, a lot of their parents, it's a foreign language. It's a foreign. They have they've never even been in the gym. Some of the parents, and when you decide to make that decision, and your son's shaving his legs, and he's looking at half-naked men in magazines, and he's wearing the posing trunks, the parents disown them.
Bodybuilding is a different sport.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding is a different sport. Most bodybuilders, I would say 99.9% of them did it on their own.
Independent, yes.
They're independent on their own. It's not a team sport. There's no parents. No one's pushing you. No one's calling you if you don't show up at the gym. Where you at? Why aren't you here today? So you learn to be disciplined.
Well, you can't take everybody with you now, but if you had advice to give to that teenager in the gym and you're in there just warming up, stretching, and you see that potential that you saw in myself, what would you say today?
I would have told you to play football.
Yeah. Even at my height, I was short. There are a few short guys back there.
I would have told you to play football.
Yeah.
I know your athletic ability.
Yeah.
You shifty, you could have done that. That's what I would have told you. But again, I was just trying to figure, sort my life out, still trying to figure out where it is I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Trying to learn, do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go up or do I go down? But I would have probably directed you to go to football. Don't do this. Because I wouldn't have done bodybuilding if someone told me. I would have stuck with football, but I had no guidance.
The height. By the way, when I was coming out of high school, it was Eric Dickerson and Eddie George. I mean, these guys were 6'2", 6'3".
They're huge.
They were starting to get a lot bigger than when I was doing what I was doing. But with regard to you, I'm going to play some wordplay really quick, drop some names, give me short answers. Former Mr. California. I won that in 1987. Mm-hmm. But in 1983 or 84, Mike Christian won that show. Mm-hmm. And I remember in the magazines, you guys kind of were being pitted against each other from time to time. Mm-hmm. What do you think about Mike Iron Warrior Christian back then? He's your size.
I thought he was okay. He had a weird physique.
Yeah, well, the hamstrings really were a little weak.
And his structure. I'm a different kind of bodybuilder. I like harmony in the entire body. And in my opinion, you have to be born with it. You can't develop it. You got it or you don't. You have small ankles or you don't. You have good tie-ins or you don't. He had a weird physique to me.
But he was able to win the California and the
because the
NPC
judges were also, how do I say this?
We're back in 1984.
If you judge a beauty contest and all the judges are ugly,
somebody's gonna win.
But the judges are all ugly. They don't know what beauty looks like.
Yeah, but Mike had some really good qualities. His twisting back was good. His hams and his calves were not that good for
just
time.
Standing there, I look at a guy standing.
Okay, Matt Mendenhall.
Just standing there, what did he look like?
Rory Littlemeyer.
Exactly.
Bob
just standing
Paris.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's overlooked now. They don't even. I don't even.
So
count
then it's
that.
not bodybuilding. It's muscle building.
Yeah.
There's a difference. For me, I like bodybuilding.
How about Ronnie Coleman?
Ronnie Coleman.
8 times Mr. Olympia. Won over 20 competitions on the Grand Prix circuit.
Very good, but not beautiful.
Flex Wheeler?
Beautiful.
Chris Cormier?
Bulldog.
What about Matt Mendenhall? Because he was there right after.
He was almost. But the waist gave him away.
Yeah.
Too thick. Serge Nubret, beautiful.
How about
Frank Zane, beautiful.
Eduardo Kawak?
Animal.
Yeah, he was a beast. He was like a big, so muscular. Do you remember Mohammed bin Aziza?
Yes.
What
Ugly.
do you think of him?
Ugly.
Was like too much muscle on too small of a frame?
Wasn't beautiful.
Yeah. What about Dorian Yates?
Not beautiful, no.
But did he change what we thought of what a bodybuilder looks like? Do you have to be beautiful to do it?
Well, it was.
He won it 7 times.
Yeah, but it was. I don't care. It was 100 times.
No, he won it 6.
It doesn't matter to me. It still was ugly.
Ugly physique.
You
What was ugly about Dorian Yates' physique to you? Because you were there in 97 in Long Beach.
Like Animal.
Do you remember in 97 when you came, you had your kid, your wife was pregnant at the time, I think?
Yeah. In Long Beach, was it?
Yeah, and you came to that, and the Wayans brothers were there. Yeah. And this is Dorian's last Olympia, torn bicep, torn tricep.
Two monster looking. Like Serge Nubret is like elegant.
Yeah.
Frank Zane looked elegant.
What do you think about Paul Dillette? He was different.
Good physique, some elegance, but some animal. Also, you know what I mean?
How about Jay Cutler? He's a different look.
No.
Didn't like
it? Ugly.
What was wrong with his physique?
Just ugly.
Was it boxy?
Yeah, boxy, ugly.
Too heavy for the height?
Ugly. Ugly.
But you came up with like Tim Belknap. What was Tim Belknap?
Ugly.
What was ugly about his
fat,
boxy?
Wide, boxy, just... I mean, you see the difference between Tim Belknap and Frank Zane. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger had a more of a beautiful physique.
Yeah. But I also have to remember, I'm talking to an artist. You're an artist.
Yeah.
You're coming from that frame of mind. Like Francis Binfato. You like him, or is he too small, too thin?
He was good. Remember this guy named Koto Sudo?
The Asian guy, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember a couple pictures
out of Japan. He had a good physique.
What about Chris Dickerson? I know that was...
No.
He was my height. So
Too wide.
Too wide. The arms weren't very good on Chris?
No. So your physique was better than his because you had more of a beautiful physique. A lot of these guys look like animals to me. And
was Sergio Oliva fall in that category?
Animal.
He was, for his time, his dimensions?
Yeah, it wasn't... when the average person would see Arnold Schwarzenegger walking down the street in his regular clothes or a T-shirt, or Frank Zane, they would say, wow, I would like to look like that.
Yeah, he was probably 230 pounds, Arnold.
Yeah.
I mean, you were 250 back then.
But they would say, when he was in shape, they would say, I would like to look like that.
Do you think they say that because it looks attainable or because it looks harmony? Like
it looks harmony.
Symmetrical.
It looked good. It's like, oh, wow. His face still looked good. He looked good.
Is that like Steve Reeves looking?
Looked good. When they start turning to animals, the big growth hormone here.
How do we get back to what you're talking about? How would the judges get that back? Because they created classic physique.
They tried it with classic, but you can't do it with those board shorts.
Yeah.
They got to just... Classic's physique should be like my physique, Frank Zane's.
But do they need to be in a weight category, in a height category?
Man.
Huh?
Man. One category, man.
Yes. Man category.
That's it.
No weight, no height. It's stand up there, pick the winner.
You're beautiful. Are you ugly or beautiful?
Right.
That's it. Just 2 categories. Okay, ugly, come to the front. Go to the back. Beautiful, come to the front. That's it.
And the board shorts is not your thing?
No.
What do you think that is? How do you perceive that division? Is that just a moneymaker?
Moneymakers. Completely stupid.
What do you think about the bikini division for the girls?
Too muscular.
They've become bodybuilders?
They should just do like, what did they have a long time ago?
Well, there was women's bodybuilding and it was men's
there was
bodybuilding.
another thing they had.
Figure?
No, it had nothing to do with bodybuilding.
Oh, about the obstacle course? Like
No. It had something to do with like
wet t-shirt?
The copper tan or somebody like that.
Yeah, like the bikini, real bikinis, like tropical tan.
What would they call it? Miss Hawaiian Tropic?
Yeah, Miss Hawaiian Tropic type thing, a real bikini. But those girls didn't work out. It was natural.
They don't need to work out.
Yeah.
They just need to look good.
I think they're trying to get that back with fit model. That's the newest division.
No, you got to take that word fit out.
Yeah.
Just, if I had something like that, like your show, beach bod, or whatever you want to call it. Because 1981, when I went to Mr. World, they had the Miss World.
Mm-hmm.
They were lifting weights.
Serge's wife was in there with them.
They were lifting weight, but they weren't going crazy. They were just really doing, weren't really lifting hard. But I'm telling you right now, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
But are you talking nostalgically, like you're not keeping up with the times? It's evolved, it's changed. These girls are athletic and their genetics are more superior. The knowledge, the supplements, so they're going to be more muscular if they work out.
Okay. How do I say this? I don't ever want to see a girl in my bed next to me with muscle arms. Would she want me to, how about let's reverse that? Let's do a new category for men where they look real feminine. He has breasts. His breasts look good. They almost look real. Is that an operation? No. He just let them grow. He's overweight, fat ass. What the hell?
Yeah.
What? How do we get from judging women who look like men?
So you're not a fan of women's bodybuilding?
No.
You're a fan of Gladys Portuguese.
Girls would not be a fan of men looking like women.
Right. But Juliet,
right?
Back when you were coming up, Juliet Bergman, Gladys Portuguese, Corey Everson, was that too much? Were they too
borderline?
It was changing.
It's getting to be too much.
Yeah.
Show me copper tan.
Yeah.
Copper tan girls.
Well, how much money do you think the Mr. Olympia winner should be winning each year?
To me, it's relative to how much the people who are making money are winning.
Well, think about the revenue streams.
Let's go back to when Joe Weider was there. When Joe Weider had it, he had Muscle and Fitness. He was making a lot of money with Muscle Fitness with his products and stuff.
Flex Shape.
At that time, it should have been winning at least minimum $1 million.
Yeah, so they were underpaid centuries ago.
They should have got a minimum $1 million.
Decades, not century.
They should have got $1 million.
Yeah.
He had enough revenue to do that.
So you watching now, what would you think it should be today competing for Mr. Olympia?
Well, it's hard to say.
Based on what you put into it.
It's hard to say because I don't know how much promoters are making.
Right.
It's all relative.
It is relative.
You got to get a percent of the gate. So how much are they making on the products for annually? How much? I don't know.
Yeah. That's not a big number. 600,000. It's not big enough.
I mean, again, I don't know. The NFL keeps going up. Salary.
Wow.
The money keeps going up
astronomically
because they're making more money.
Right.
So the question is bodybuilding making more money?
Well,
if it's not,
I can tell you what is happening is it's been more inclusive. With all these other divisions, I think it's cannibalizing what the bodybuilders could make because you're giving birth to all of these other people that are participating.
There's no more Muscle and Fitness, right?
No.
So
digital.
This is all digital. How much are they making? Is the question.
What I'm saying is you're spreading from bodybuilding. Now you're spreading it out this way. Bikini, fitness, 212 classic, fit model, wellness.
Because they're trying to make more money. They're charging you to come in to participate.
More participation.
But it's not enough money to
make one guy a serious paycheck like football.
You need, by nature, it's not a big enough audience.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of numbers involved now. We're all over the world. We're everywhere. A lot more than when you were competing in terms of exposure and access.
Yeah, but they're independently owned. They're not. NFL is one unit.
Yeah.
So they collect all the monies. So if they were collecting all the money from all over the world, that's a different thing. But there's separate entities that are collecting monies, and they're like, well, like the guy who you told me who runs the Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, it's Jake Wood. Jake Wood.
Does he have a business besides Mr. Olympia related to bodybuilding?
Yeah, I don't know what else he's involved. He's a promoter. He's got shows over in Romania. He puts on the Masters Olympia. He does a lot.
So he's not making what NFL or he's not making what the UFC is making.
Right, but Joe Weider had magazines. He had gyms. He had products.
It made sense for him to give the $1 million.
Yeah, he could have.
Because I heard he was making over $100 million.
Yeah,
it's not all profit, but still, he could have gave $1 million back then.
Yeah.
He should have given $1 million because he was in position. Now, I don't think the position is the same.
Yeah.
Financially, because the guy who runs the Mr. Olympia, he's got different shows, but
he's not focused on the one.
They need one federation to dominate the whole planet. And each athlete has to pay into that. And then they can say, we're going to give $1 million, maybe $2 million.
Well, you've been exposed to different professions, like the NFL Players Association. Do they play the football players? They pay into that.
They pay into that,
and that goes in like the football players' retirement funds and all that kind of stuff. It's a totally different animal, but
it's structured right. So if they're smart, they'll look at that and say, "Is there a way we can structure it?"
It's also a union, right? They have a union.
Well, they got to think about doing.
These bodybuilders are not even talking to each other because they're on Instagram and
they got to form a union.
Independent. What would you like for people to remember you by? Because you're not going to be here all that much longer. I hope you're here for another 30 years. But when you're gone, what are they going to say about you? Because you got your boys, they're your grandfather now, and there's going to be probably more coming down the road. When they're gone, what are they going to say? I know what I say. When you're not in my presence, I talk very nostalgically about the seeds that you planted in me, which have been spread on to Melvin and to Richard Jones and to Milo Sarchev and Vince. I watch that. I know what I say because I lived it and I'm a product of it. My success is rooted in your success. But your boys are successful because of co-parenting. But when you're gone, what are they going to say about that? What do you hope to hear when you're listening?
That's a good question.
They're all three going to have a different perspective, I imagine.
What do you mean? What I hope to hear from my sons?
Well, how do you think you're going to be talked about? Because when I talk about my dad, who passed away 16 years ago, I always say I'm a son of a janitor. That gives perspective of where I came from, and how I was raised. Because we have a perception of janitors as being a little bit further down the totem pole from the scholars, from the professionals. My dad he owned his business. He wasn't just a janitor. He owned his business. He was in the military. He served in the Air Force. He worked at Rockwell, had a degree in engineering. So he was more than just a janitor. He was a business owner. But being the son of a janitor meant I was wiping out the toilets and dumping trash. So my perspective and appreciation for what I did as a bodybuilder is different than someone else. What do you think they're going to say about you and how they were brought up? And
That's a good question.
You knew my father.
I mean, I hope they go. I was hardworking, disciplined.
You think they're going to say you were too hard on him?
No, never.
Yeah, okay.
Never too hard. I was fair. Didn't take any BS. Handled business. Supportive, extremely supportive. And dumped a lot of knowledge in them.
Yeah, because I think they think, what is Dad going to say? I think they think twice about some of the decisions because of how you conduct yourself. A lot of times as a bodybuilder, in the gym, when I'm by myself, what would John do, right? I'm training with somebody else, and I'm assuming your persona, and I'm bestowing it on this guy trying to be me. I'm thinking, how would John handle this? What would John do? When they're in those decision-making things, the tools that you gave them, do you think they're gonna be thinking about Dad?
To some degree, but that's interesting because I notice as they get older, which is good, they get their own opinion, their own identity, which is what I expect, not what I want. But they measure it. They have no wisdom. they have no experience, but they think they have experience, which is okay. You got to go through that. You got to think that way. I would say certain things. Well, I think you should look into this. No, Papa, you ghetto.
Yeah.
Right?
Their form of reference.
Yeah. Because I may have turned him on to this particular accountant, but he wasn't as good as we hoped to be. See, you introduced us to him. See, you didn't vet him properly.
Right.
But what they don't understand is this is America. Most people don't know what the hell they're talking about. Mm-hmm. There's a reason when you take your car to the mechanic to fix it, is you get it back, it's not really fixed. Mm-hmm. Because he didn't have the schooling like people in Germany would have. Germany is crazy. Like, let's say you want to open a gym or clothing store. You have to go to a class and take a class and pass a very rigorous test in order to do that.
Yeah.
If you're not certified, you can't just do it.
Yeah.
Here, most guys will fix your toilet. They learn from their uncle. Mm-hmm. They don't even know what they're doing. But my sons don't know that yet.
Yeah.
So they think because I introduced to this guy here and it didn't turn out to be the guy we wanted, that I'm not good at my opinion of introducing them to certain people are not good. They don't understand it's the world we live in. Mm-hmm. So they'll learn to, so as they get older, they'll learn to respect my opinion and what I went through more as they get older.
And that's the real wisdom that you get as you grow older. But with that being said, parting words with respect to the guy that wants to be the bodybuilder. You see the kid now, you see that 17, 18-year-old. What are you going to tell him?
Don't do it.
Okay.
That's it. Why? I mean,
what are you cautioning him for not doing it? Is it what aspect of the sport?
There's no money, real money. You got drugs involved in this sport. It's just not, it's more negative than positive that can come out of it.
Okay.
In my opinion. It's if you're one guy and you're, how do I say this? So we need doctors, lawyers, and Indian chiefs. Not everybody can be a Mason, but we do need Masons. We need different things in life. But my philosophy and my mindset is always on one gear, number one. I'm never in number two, so it's hard for me to speak on that. You know, to be, I would try a sport where if you become a world champion,
you get rewarded.
There's rewards, financial rewards at the end if you become a world champion. So why not swing for the fences? Why stay at the bottom? The bottom's overcrowded. Go for it.
Well, they don't call him Big Bad John for nothing. Words of wisdom from one of the OGs from back in the day. 2-time Mr. Universe, 3-time Mr. World, John Brown. I'm Shawn Ray for Where Are They Now?
Peace.